How's it going, everyone? Wayne the Unknown here, and welcome to another episode of Cosplay Con Talk. Where Cosplay Con Talk is basically a podcast series where we discuss everything pertaining to the cosplay community and conventions. Tonight, we are doing another segment for Get to Know That Cosplayer, and tonight's featured guest cosplayer is Utahime Cosplay.
Well, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, you are very most welcome. How are we doing today?
Doing good, doing good.
Glad to hear
Is day going?
it. So, first question I always ask every cosplayer guest who comes on here. How long have you been cosplaying for?
So I started really like trying to get into cosplay in 2014. It was something that I wanted to do like back home in Chicago. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, in the Beverly area, and I was always a really nerdy kid. Like I loved, X-Men animated series. I love Star Wars. I was a big fan of Disney and anime. So it's one of those things where I think that I naturally kind of had some different interests from some of the different kids in school. But I would see, the different conventions. You would see it on TV and see people going to conventions and dressing up, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that one day. And it wasn't until I moved out to California. It took some time once I got settled in. I was kind of, curious because I was like, okay, let me try to look up some different events, like, what's going on. And I ended up going to Anime Expo in 2014. And I decided to just go full force and just go jump right, dive right in, and like I'm gonna dress up. I'm just gonna go all out. Let's if I do it, you just go big or go home. So I dressed up as Shigeru Kasaka from the Kenichi, the Mightiest Disciple, one of my favorite animes, and I had a blast. I didn't know anyone at the time, but I was able to meet a lot of really cool people who were really welcoming, and you know that was that's the rest is history.
Nice. And so, Anime Expo was your very first convention?
Yeah, yes, one of the one of the bigger ones, and also too my first. Yes.
Yeah, I've heard Anime Expo can be pretty big. What was it like for going to such a big con for your first con?
I guess because of the fact that I didn't have anything else to compare it to, it was all just like, you are wide eyed and just, oh my gosh, I found my hope. You're kind of, geeking out, and it's like almost like just overload of the senses pretty much, because you see, other people in cosplay and these really elaborate booths, for like Funimation and Crunchyroll and stuff like that. So it was interesting because I didn't have anything to compare it to. But it wasn't what it was or now is. I guess I should put, the fact that it's like now grown to double the size that it was when I first went. But to me, that was what I thought. I thought every convention. So when I went to smaller conventions, I was like, oh, okay, it's not as many people, or not as, many halls that it takes over. But like then I started realizing that there is a difference between conventions. But it was definitely just, it was insane. I absolutely loved it. I didn't mind the craziness because it was a lot of stuff going on, but I think it's just because of the fact that I was so ready to have that experience that I didn't mind it one bit. But I'm sure for people who started out with a smaller con, it might have been a little overwhelming.
Oh, yeah. And who did you say your first cosplay was again?
Shigure Kasaka from Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple.
Shikuri Kis.
Shigure
All right.
Kasaka.
Um,
Hmm.
and did you buy that costume? Did you make it, or how did you come about
You
wanting
know
to
what?
cosplay that character?
I actually pieced it together. So it's one of those things where, I tell people all the time, if like some people are really gifted as far as being able to sew and create armor pieces and things like that. But it's also too, cosplay is, you can thrift, you can use things from your closet, you can purchase things from Amazon online. You can kind of do your own thing, because it's really just, it's an art form. You can express yourself however. I actually, for my first cosplay, I bought pieces from Amazon and took things from my closet to try to actually make the look, because it's really, her outfit is very simple. It's like a robe, this netting that's underneath it, and like samurai sandals and
Yeah,
her sword.
I'm looking at it right now. She looks like she has like a little mouse on her shoulder.
Yes, I could only find I went to a store, a toy store, and I wanted to try to find a little mouse, but the closest was a little hamster. So I just pretended that that was her little friend on it. I pinned him on my shoulder, and so he was just like on my shoulder the whole day, which was pretty funny. I That was my favorite part of the cosplay was just having my not mouse on my shoulder. Yeah, pretty great.
Yeah, I've never heard of this anime before.
Yeah, it's one of those like that's the thing is that I'm kind of that person who doesn't care if people aren't familiar with a series or movie or whatever. Like if a character speaks to me or if I really love a series, I will still cosplay from that. So that's I didn't realize that that I chose something that people wouldn't know. So I got a lot of questions when I went to and but that actually started lots of conversations because people were like, "It looks familiar. What is that from?" And then I explained and they're like, "Oh, that's an older one. It's not super old, but it is a slightly older
Yeah,
um
it's mid 2000s kind of
yeah.
anime. I'm looking at it right now. That's pretty. I have to look into that.
Yeah, and it's great because, I really connect to the story, especially because I was when I first watched it, I was training in martial arts and so I really kind of connected with the main character Kenichi. He's learning from these great masters and at the time I was training with some really well-known teachers in the martial arts community. And for me, I kind of was like, oh, that's how I look up to, my Sifu. And that's how kind of like my experience where I'm thinking that I'm not going to ever pick this up and they're still believing in me. And so that's why I kind of really gravitated towards the show. And I love Shigure because she was very much that character that basically didn't say much, but when she did, you listened and you knew that she was deadly from just like her different scenes where she was just showing off her mastery in weapons so I love strong female characters so I was like yes I love her she's amazing she's awesome I must cosplay and I decided to do it and no regrets
Nice.
even if people
That's
didn't know who I was I'm like I don't care I love this character anyway and I'll
well.
tell you about it.
I feel like no matter what your skill level is, your height, your race, your weight, whatever. I feel like
Yeah.
if you enjoy cosplaying a character, you should
Oh, for sure.
fully cosplay them, no matter what people will say.
100%. And that's always been I've been a big proponent of that and encouraging people no matter your skill level. If you haven't made a single costume in your life, but you want to commission something from a friend of yours who designs, or if you want to piece together things from your closet, however you want to do it, it doesn't matter as long as you're having fun with it and you're bringing this character to life for fellow fans and people still appreciate it and everyone's welcome. That's
Oh,
what I
most
always try
definitely,
to encourage.
most definitely. So on that topic, is there that one cosplay you've had that that you haven't done in so long that once cons do come back that you would want to bring back and showcase?
Ooh, that's a good question. Hmm. I definitely there was one that I really again I'm even though I'm going back to anime one that I was able to do before the pandemic hit and I was really glad but I didn't get a chance to do I wanted to do a shoot off like outside of a con but like also bring it back to a con but also to shoot outside and on location with it. I cosplayed Valletta New from Code Geass and
Wait, who
Valletta New.
is she? What does she look like again?
So she has the gray hair, high pony, kind of the military looking ensemble with skirts, thigh high boots. She's always very serious, smizing with her eyes.
Oh,
But
okay. Oh, I see. Okay, and I think I actually seen that on your Instagram as well.
yes, yes. So again, I take it back sometimes to the oldie but goodies. And I was really, really, really stoked that that came together, and I had such a fun time. And my boyfriend actually cosplayed, from the series as well, and he did Jeremiah Gottwald, and so we want to try to bring it back and do it again because we had fun, especially because we got to cosplay together. And that always makes it more fun too when you get to cosplay with like friends
Oh, well,
and loved
that's
ones.
yeah. I'm just looking at Jeremiah right now too. That's pretty cool. And speaking of, how long has your boyfriend been cosplaying for?
Oh, he's been in the con scene for a long time. So he's been in the scene, I think, since like 2003, 2002. Oh my
Oh
goodness.
wow,
He's been around for a
he's
while.
definitely he would be considered a veteran at this point in
Oh,
cosplaying.
yeah, he's seen it from the very beginning when cosplaying was still growing and kind of still not, like people didn't know, it wasn't mainstream. People didn't know exactly what it was. They just thought you were some weirdo that, kind of was dressed up going, on the bus going to some place that they didn't know where you
Yeah,
were going
cause
to.
well, I mean, I know conventions have been around a long time since like the '80s and everything, but like cosplaying like anime characters and whatnot,
Yeah.
that was more like a thing in Japan. It was still kind of like new over here in the States.
Exactly. So I think that he's seen it where it was like at the very early stages until now. So it's always one of those things that we discuss, and I always ask him questions about what it was like because I didn't have friends who or anyone that I knew who was a part of that. So thinking back in the when I was in Chicago, there was a scene there, but it's just if you aren't in the know or you don't have people who have the same interests as you, you'll never know about these things. And I'm like, I could have been a part of this way back when, and met some friends that were actually from Chicago who I met out here in LA in the convention scene. They're like, yeah, if you would have been friends with us, we would have taken you everywhere. And I'm like, what? I can't believe this. But everything happens for a reason, so it's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm just looking at his Instagram right now, and his Jeremiah Godwald is really, really well done.
Yes. So we worked with my good friend Angie Viper, who is also a very talented cosplayer who's been a part of the cosplay community for a while and definitely a positive driving force for just, inclusiveness in the community. And she is an amazing designer, and we worked with her for the costumes. So both of our costumes were made by her, and we worked with my hairstylist I've been going to forever. She loves being creative, and when she found out that I was going to these different events, she was like, I can style wigs. And so I've been working with her, and then I pulled Andrew in on that. And so our wigs are often styled by her, Alicia Nicole hair design. So she's amazing, and she's seen from the beginning when I first started going to conventions, and she's like, man, it's so insane to think about me helping you with some of your first cosplays until now. It's been a really fun journey for everybody, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Nice. So, what is it like making your own cosplays when you do make your own cosplays?
For me, I'm one of those that I like to again, like I'll pull different things together to make it work. And it's fun because you get creative and try to find, like I kind of am a perfectionist where I'm like I have to find something that looks exactly like it has to look like this. It may take a while, so sometimes I'm not one of those that always has like a new cosplay every month, but I will spend months trying to find the pieces, even if I'm finding them from thrift stores, whatever, to try to make sure that it looks like the character. And it doesn't. You don't have to do it that way. That's just me. But like my own personal way that I like to cosplay, and I try to focus on the little details. So pulling stuff together, so that's pretty much where I kind of go down that vein of just trying to get all of the little pieces and having them come together. And then you feel really proud of the end result because you're like, oh yay, you did something to reflect your passion for the fandom, and it's a really good feeling.
Very nice. I think that's always a good thing. And so you would highly recommend for those who are just starting out or who wanted to cosplay to definitely check into thrift stores and everything?
Yeah, Amazon is always great. I'm constantly on Amazon finding different things. I actually do that a lot now with, I've gotten really heavily during this pandemic into the D&D and TTRPG community, and I love to incorporate cosplays into my role playing because it just, for me, it's great to combine some things that I'm passionate about and to be able to bring, an original character, my own character, to life this time. So I'll kind of look online and try to find different things, if it's headpieces or jewelry or special, like certain shirts or things that I can kind of like maybe add some things to make it look cooler. I really love that part of the process of kind of piecing it together, like a stylist would, in a way.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah.
Now, would you say there's that one cosplay that that took you so long that you got it done right before con started?
Oh yeah, that one was definitely Ash from Overwatch.
Nice.
That took about a year
Oh
for it.
wow.
And it was one of those things that it literally, like, it was like up until the last minute there were still like different things that had to be fixed on it or added in order to for it to be ready for when I debuted that one. And I believe it was for, if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, it was for Anime Expo. And it was such a relief when everything finally came together, and and to have um the actual Overwatch League, and the people who worked, the team, the devs who worked on her story and her as a character, the fact that they shared my picture and they showed a lot of love, it made me feel so like just honored, just like blown away that it was so well received, because a lot of work went into that, and working with friends on that, and to see it all come to fruition, it was really, really an amazing experience. It took a long time, and it was definitely a little stressful at times. I'm not gonna lie. Like, will this be done in time? Will this, come together? Will it look as good as this? Like, I think the pieces, will come together, but you never know. Things might fall apart during the con, as it sometimes does. But it's always things that can be fixed. So
Oh yeah, most
yeah.
most definitely. I'm sure that it was like that was a pretty fun cosplay for you to do though, from for such a well-known character in Overwatch such as Ash.
Oh yeah, that was so much fun, and getting a chance to kind of mess around and try to memorize some of the voice lines and do some fun little videos here and there with friends, screaming, Bob, do something, kind of like just when you saw like people or
Nice,
other Overwatch characters, and
nice,
messing around with
nice.
other cosplayers. So it was fun.
I,
That
I I
was that was
can
definitely a highlight.
I can definitely relate to that. I've cosplayed as McCree, and I went to a small town con once, and quite a few people were asking me to do his one line, the it's high noon one. It's like, uh, yeah.
You have
So,
your voice you have a nice voice, so I'm sure that you killed it. I'm like, I had to really try to work on it because Jennifer Hale is like, she's amazing, and such an amazing voice actor. So I'm like, sorry if I murdered or butchered this. I'm gonna try my best though.
so I imagine you do get quite a bit of recognition then when you cosplay certain characters.
Yes, there's been definitely quite a few characters that have been really well received and been shared a ton. My Psylocke being one of them, and Kita as well. So it's, because of course, even though I talked about anime, I love Marvel to death, and I've done Gamora and Psylocke, and I've done Cindy Moon, Silk, and of course I've done different Disney princesses, and um, Kita. That was another one that was, I was so surprised that people showed that amount of love, because I was like, oh, I don't know if people even remember Atlantis, and people are like, I love that movie.
No,
It's
it's
underrated.
such I feel like it's such an underrated movie yet. I think Kira is probably again just like Ash, just like one of those characters that people will love to cosplay as.
Hmm. And I mean, I'm also too a huge fan of Cree Summers, and she's the voice
Oh yeah, no,
of Kita,
she's.
and so I'm like, oh my god! And when she shared my stuff, I freaked out. I was geeking out like for the whole like it was like a whole month, and I was like, oh my god, Senpai noticed me.
That's always a good thing when like a person you're cosplaying as, like the voice actor or the actor, will recognize it and give you recognition. I think that's like always a cool thing.
Yeah, that's and it's always for me these different things have been so unexpected because it's really like I don't do it for any of that. I do it just because of the fact that I love these characters and these fandoms, and I love being able to go to cons and hanging. And that's the one thing I do miss. I miss that experience of hanging with friends and taking photos together and selfies and seeing the little kids who get excited when you're cosplaying one of their favorite characters, things like that. Those are the things that mean the most to me. But then it's like the cherry on top of a cake when someone who is the actor for that character or the company, the brand itself, acknowledges your work, and that's just like, oh, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Like, this is awesome. Thank you so much for the love.
Oh, most definitely. I think that's like always like a pretty cool thing to get recognized
Hmm.
like that.
Yeah, like I never expected, and it's never something that is like that's a must for me. It's just a nice, again, a nice treat when that does happen.
Oh, most definitely. We got about 9 more minutes to go. Now there, Dan, do you have like any dream cosplays you want to do when once COVID is over with, and you would like to share for with people?
Yes, one thing that was going to happen was I was going to be cosplaying Poison Ivy for the first time. That was put on hold, due to obviously it was supposed to be me and two of my closest friends who were supposed to be cosplaying the sirens. And so it's something that I'm going to look forward to, for sure, being able to do that, and then also to the other cosplay that we were going to do, was the group, the Avatar, the Last Airbender group, but as adults.
Oh,
And
nice.
I'm a huge fan of Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I love Katara, Water Tribe for life. So I have cosplayed Korra, from Legend of Korra before, but I have not cosplayed Katara yet. But I was going to do, since I don't, I'm like, I like to think that I look young, but I don't look that young. I don't look like a 13-year-old kid. So I'm like, no, I haven't really seen a lot of people do the adult versions, especially as a group. And so I was going to be doing that, and with the my boyfriend was going to be cosplaying Aang, and our roommates were going to be cosplaying Toph and Zuko. And I'm
Nice.
still trying to convince my brother to be Sokka. That's still a work in progress because he legit is Sokka in real life. His personality, it's fantastic. But yeah, those were the two main cosplay groups that I was gonna be a part of, and I'm hoping that we'll get a chance to do that when things are back up and running safely, of course.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I know a lot of people are like looking to get back into also get-togethers for cosplay photo shoots as well. I know a lot of people miss it.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. And that was always a lot of fun because we would, for shoots and things when you were doing that with friends. Uh, Most of the time we spend this time doing the shots as the character, but then afterwards usually go out and enjoy a meal together and hang out, and that's always the favorite part of the shoot is the hangout afterwards, I like to say.
Oh, most
But
definitely.
yeah, I think that that's the thing is that a lot of us are missing that connection with one another that we used to. It's almost like something that you take for granted, and you don't think about it, how much that kind of interaction with friends and family, until it's gone,
Oh,
until
you
you
know.
can't do it anymore. And I think that it's just I think we'll all be more appreciative of those moments and really, really, really maximize that time with loved ones and friends
Oh,
when
most
things go
definitely.
back.
Most definitely. So, I'm trying to think here. So, have you ever had a cosplay that it's just somehow it just did not work for you? Like something ripped, tore, fell off, or it just you didn't like it? Anything about it?
It's more like a funny situation. So I did cosplay Storm a while back, and with the suit that I wore, I forgot what happened, but I was talking with some people. They're over at a booth, and I had the contact. Mind you, I had the white mesh contacts, and
Oh
if you've
no.
ever worn those, you can't really, everything's kind of hazy. Like you can see well, like you can't see hardly anything in the dark. I highly do not recommend. I once did. I was Storm in WeHo during the Halloween time when it was like basically like they have a huge Halloween parade, and it was nighttime and I couldn't see anything. I would definitely say don't ever do that because you can't see anything. But with this story, where I was at the con, I believe it was Stanley's Kamikaze at the time, if I'm not mistaken. I might have my cons confused. But I dropped something. I bent down and I heard. It's like more like I heard it, but I felt it. The back of my suit on the bum ripped.
Oh no.
Yes, and and I felt it, but I kind of heard it. It's like heard and felt at the same time, and my brain was processing. Oh no, I have safety pins, but again, oh no, because I have these contacts in. So I'm it's gonna be, I have to try to like figure this out. And at the time, my friends were I forgot if they were at a panel or whatever else. So I was basically having to go to the bathroom to fix my suit by myself. Luckily, because of her cape, no one could see my underwear or anything. Thank goodness. But when I went to the stall, I'm just in there, and for some reason, the lights too in the specific bathroom, the lights on the side where it was the biggest stall, so I could have room to try to fix it, was just completely dark. So I am just in the bathroom trying to safety pin this suit, and I could barely see. And it was absolutely, like, looking back on it, was absolutely hilarious. I managed to pin it in such a way where people couldn't see the pins, and it was fine. Like I couldn't feel a breeze anymore. That was good. My butt wasn't on display for everyone, thank goodness. But it was just something that I was just like, yeah, that was this one of those cosplay moments where you're just like, yep, this is not the business, but you're gonna roll with the punches anyway. Because I did not have a change of clothes, and that was,
Oh
yeah, that was
no.
that.
Yeah, that was actually one of my other questions is like, if you had any experiences in cosplaying or some and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, well, that one was definitely one where I learned, because also too, like I had a couple times where I had to go fix it because the pin opened up and was scratching certain places, which was not good.
Ooh.
Um, so that, like, I think also too, just little things that you pick up on, and we've actually had a panel, like my one friend who Sergeant Switch the Stitch, who actually used to do cosplay repair at the convention. So they would constantly have their telephone number available for everyone who needed assistance because things happen. Sometimes you can't avoid it. And we had a panel on how to survive in cosplay because it's something that I think we all forget, is that, we definitely forget to bring water. We don't hydrate enough. And sometimes it is because you're in an outfit where you're not able to use the restroom easily, or it's going to take like almost as much time as, the time that you took to put it on, to take it off, to use the bathroom. That's another thing um, that people don't think about. But snacks and having like a little repair kit on your own, so in case you're not able to have a friend or family member with you, you're able to kind of take care of things on the fly. But I think we've all had those moments. Even like I learned to always bring an extra pair of shoes with you, because sometimes the heels, towards the end of the day, especially for ladies, we feel our feet just expanding in our shoe because it's just all the blood is rushing to our toes. And so sometimes it's good to have like some flip flops or a pair of flats, which you can find online too, where you can have it in like, a little bag or even in a fanny pack, which fanny packs now have become one of my favorite things to have at cons that match your outfit in some way.
Oh yeah,
Um,
most definitely.
just little things like that, it will help tremendously because you never know. It's always good to be prepared, and I'm glad that we used to have those panels because a lot of people were like, it's so simple, but we never think about it. I'm like, yeah, I still sometimes forget myself. And then I'm like, didn't we have that panel back in the
Yeah.
day?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Well, we're out of time right now. Again, Utahime, thank you for being another featured guest on Cosplay
of
Contacts.
course.
Get to know that cosplayer.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me. And I had a lot of fun talking with you today.
You are most welcome. Again, everyone, thank you for listening, and until next time, thank you for watching.